my name is Staci, and I'll be guiding you through your yoga experience today. Today, what to expect and what you should need is you should expect an all levels yoga practice. So I will be teaching to all levels, meaning that the pace will be relatively slower. I'm going to take my time describing a lot of the options that you have this morning for your yoga practice. And while it will be a flow, which means we're just moving with our breath as much as we can, we will take moments of meditation, we will take moments of rest, and we will also take moments where we just check in with our body, we take deep breaths, and we just enjoy the movement today. So as far as equipment, all you will need is a mat, potentially if you have one, a yoga mat, or if you have just a comfortable carpet or a towel that you can use. A towel tends to be nice because it's less likely to have your feet slip around. So that's an option. Definitely wanting some cushion. And then I'm sitting on a little throw pillow right here, just a comfortable throw pillow. And what that does is it actually elevates your hips so that they kind of open up a little bit. We've most likely been sitting more than we're used to during this time, or a lot of people I know have been saying that they've been running a lot and their hip flexors are pretty tight, or their hips are just tired, or they're sore in places they aren't usually sore. So we will focus on the hips today in that practice, especially toward the end. We'll take our time moving through some seated hip openers, and then progress into our Shavasana. So as far as time today, we still have about 3 minutes before we begin. So I'll let you kind of get set up, get your mat, get your prop if you want one. If you have yoga blocks, those are going to be a great option. Or at one point, I'm going to actually use my water bottle. We will be doing a balance pose, also known as half moon, where having something to elevate the floor towards your hand when you're in that standing balance pose can be pretty nice. And so other than that, I mean, water bottle potentially, and you might want to drink every once in a while you're taking class today, mat, and then a nice throw pillow or something. Even a blanket will work if it's folded up and it's pretty substantial in that height, and can also be a nice cushion for the knees when we do some of our kneeling postures. But ultimately, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible today. I won't be playing any music just because I want my voice to be nice and clear as far as how I want your body to be situated. And the bird left, but there were a couple of birds who were having a little conversation across the way from me. So one would say something and the other one would say something, and it was really beautiful. So I hope they start talking to each other again. But enjoying and loving this sun. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to hopefully be in your living room. And if you're not able to do this right now, remember you can always jump on later and join me later. Maybe if you can bring your phone or your computer outside, and you can still get Wi-Fi or you can still have service, you can hopefully watch class outside today at some point, because it is very, very nice to be outdoors. So again, our focus today will be on moving with the breath at a moderate pace. It'll be an all levels class. We will be focusing on the hips, and aspects of the hips is that we're going to get kind of the front part, or the hip flexors, the muscles that help flex your hip up. So when you lift your knee up, that's why people who maybe are running more than they usually do, or hiking more than they usually do, they're feeling that tightness from having to repeatedly pull their knee up to their chest to do that run or that walk or that hike. And similar to cycling, so if you're doing a lot more outdoor cycling, you're still using those hip flexors. And then we'll also focus on the back of the hip, which can also get tight from a lot of sitting or standing for long periods of time. And then we'll focus also on the outside of the hip and the inside of the hip, and we'll move slowly through those hip openers today. But as far as equipment, I'll repeat myself. Maybe a mat. If you don't have a mat, no worries. Grab a blanket or something that's not too slippery. So like a towel would be good on carpet. And then I'm using my water bottle as a prop a little bit today for some of our hip openers where we're actually opening up the chest and might need that for our balance poses. And then a nice throw pillow. So I'm sitting on a throw pillow right here. There goes those birds. So I hope they talk more throughout class today. I'm gonna double check to make sure we're good on our live stream, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hi Sue, hi Aruna, good morning. All right, let's get started. So starting in that comfortable seated position, let's just take a moment to meditate. We'll close our eyes gently. Sitting and elevating those hips is going to help release those muscles so that you can relax even more. And then with the eyes closed, hands just gently resting on the legs. You can be in a cross-legged position like I am. You can also put your pillow or whatever is underneath you between your legs and have a seat on the pillow with your knees in front of you and your feet behind you. This is a nice quad opener. If you have any knee pain here, then don't do that one, but some people, it can actually help open up those quads and help with their knees. So find what feels best for you. And as always, safety disclaimer, listen to your body. If I say something or do something you don't want to do, I'll give lots of options. Find what works for you. So we're sitting up nice and tall. Our chest is lifted, our chin is off our chest. And let's just close our eyes and take a moment to start to bring our mind into our body. Bring awareness to maybe some areas that are a little more tight or holding a little more tension than normal. And start to bring the focus of the breath to your mind. And as you breathe, try to focus on breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you breathe, start to pay attention to where the breath is going. So when you inhale, are you feeling your chest rise in the upper neck area or the clavicle area? Or are you feeling that extension coming forward of your chest and maybe the sides of your rib cage? Or maybe you're feeling that breath in your belly. Wherever that breath is, just take note of it and just let it happen. And then with very little effort but some consciousness, just start to bring the breath deeper into the lungs. So bring the breath less from the chest and the upper neck and more into the rib cage and the belly. Keeping that posture long. One more deep breath here. Exhale, release. We'll start seated, doing a nice warm-up. If you want to switch legs of whichever leg was on top for your cross-legged, just to get a little bit of a difference in those hips, please do so. And let's start with just some side bends. So taking your left arm out to the side, reach your right arm up toward the ceiling or the sky, and just side bend, keeping that right hip down as much as you can. Your eyes can look down towards your mat, or they can look up toward the ceiling, or even out in front of you. Feeling that rib cage on that side that's opening up, that right side, open with every breath. And then exhale to sit up tall. Let's take it to the left side. Left arm comes up, fingertips walk over on that right side, thinking more about length rather than collapsing on this right side. Exhale to bring that arm up. We're gonna go a little bit faster. Inhale up, exhale side bend. I want 2 shoulder rolls for that shoulder. Take a couple shoulder rolls, take them the other way, opening up the chest, and then take it to the other side. So we'll do 2 each direction on those shoulder rolls. No clicking or popping, let that shoulder just gently move through the socket. One more time on each side with those shoulder rolls. Continue that conscious breath. Breathing through the lungs, breathing into the belly. Back to that left arm, left shoulder. Good, and bring yourself back to that seated position. Let's take that right arm, bring it across to the left knee, and then inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to do a gentle twist, looking behind you. One more breath here. Each exhale, trying to make that twist a little bit deeper. Inhale back to center. Let's take that left arm now, take it across to the right knee. Inhale to extend the spine. Exhale to bring that right arm behind you. Warming up through the spine. One more big breath. And then release the hands, release the spine. Let's take our pillow or blanket, whatever was underneath our hips, just kind of set that to the side. We will go to some kneeling positions right now, so if it feels better to bring that cushion underneath your knees, you can do that as well. Taking our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips, finding a nice quadruped position. And then let's flatten out the tops of our feet. Unless that feels uncomfortable, you can always tuck those toes. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Exhale to round the spine for our cat. Inhale, extend the spine, look forward. Trying not to look way too high so we can not kick to the neck. We're moving through the spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale to round. We can start to move through the body a little bit more. On your inhale, cow. Maybe you press the chest forward, feeling a stretch in those wrists. Exhale, press back. Maybe going into a little bit of a child's pose. But pulling the belly in, feeling that scoop all the way into the low back. Exhale, round. Continuing to breathe into the nose and out through the nose. Exhale. One more round. Find that neutral spine in the middle, and we're just going to wag our tail a little bit. So wagging your tail, looking back at your tail to one side, and then wagging the other way. Feeling the contraction of those obliques as you're side bending to one side. And now let's add that hip, since it's actually a hip opening class. We're going to bend the right knee, and then as you twist to look back, externally rotate that foot so it's toward your shoulder. And then you can go the other way with that same foot. So while we wag the tail, we're also pivoting that knee on the mat or on our blanket or whatever cushion we're using. One more time. And release. Maybe take a little break for the wrists. Sometimes they can get tired here. If they're really tired, you can always make fists with those hands. Bending that left knee this time. Side bending, looking back at that foot. Side bending the other way. Feeling the movement in the hips, in the upper back, in the spine. Last two. Still pulling the belly in, always keeping that core engaged. Last one, and relax. Going back to the right knee one more time, or right foot one more time. Let's tuck the toes, and I want us to press your foot into the mat, and then bring the hips forward. So keeping the hips elevated toward the shoulders, so we're not dropping our hips down. We're keeping them in that nice kind of plank position. We're just getting into the calf muscle, into the ankle, and maybe even starting to feel this stretch up into the hamstring. Keep that knee nice and straight. One more time on this foot, on this ankle, and then let's switch sides. Other leg, we press through the toes, press the hips back, big stretch to the calf. Keep those hips in line with the floor. So we're not opening up the hips or dropping the hips toward the floor. One more big stretch into that left foot, left ankle, feeling it into the bottoms of the foot as well. And then lower that knee down. Last thing in our quadruped position, right leg goes back, left arm comes forward. If that's too much, we can always just stick with the leg. And let's practice rounding elbow to knee to elbow, really warming up that core for our practice today. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to round. 2 more on this side. Inhale to reach, exhale to round. Last time, inhale to reach, extend, 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 exhale to round. Bring the hands back to the floor, other arm, right arm, left leg, or whatever side you hadn't done yet. Exhale to round, inhale to extend. Again, really warming up the shoulders, warming up the core, warming up the legs. Last 2, round. On the exhale, inhale, extend last time. And relax. We're going to go into a nice low lunge next to prepare ourselves for our Surya Namaskar, classic Surya Namaskar, which is basically Vinyasa flow. Back up to the edge of your mat and take one leg. Let's take our right leg forward to the top of that mat. Drop the hips down, and you can either just stay here on any of our lunge movements. You can just have your hands on the floor, or maybe you have those blocks or a couple of pillows next to you to elevate the floor towards you. Or we can lift the arms up, find that nice low lunge. Again, your knee can be propped on something if that feels better. Hands come to the center of your chest. Let's twist toward the front leg and hold this Anjaneyasana or low lunge, maybe adding that twist. When you inhale, lift the spine, lift the chest, reach the arms back up toward the ceiling if we're lifting them off the floor. And then hands come back down to frame the foot. Take that right leg back, switch to the left leg. Dropping the hips down. Inhale to reach the arms up toward the ceiling if that feels okay. This is where we really start to get into those hips, you guys. Feeling a stretch in that hip flexor. We can deepen that stretch into the spine. Bringing the hands to the chest, twist toward the front leg, which should be our left leg. Looking behind you. Big exhales here. Inhale here. One more breath. Hand comes to the floor to frame the foot, and then I actually want us to turn toward the front of the, or to the side of the mat. So facing me, we're moving into gate pose. So I want that same leg that was in front still out to the side extended. So I had my left leg here. So I'm gonna keep mirroring you guys. So your left leg is out to the side. Come up toward the front of the room, the front of your mat, the side of your mat, and reach that left leg out to the side. So we have our left leg out, our right knee down, finding our gate pose. We're going to do some side bends here. So reaching the arms out to the side. Let's start toward that left leg. Reach the right arm up toward the ceiling. Hand slides down the leg, not pressing on the knee joint. Maybe reaching toward the calf, maybe only to here. And then we'll bring that top arm down to touch the floor, or maybe a pillow or a prop next to us, and reach that other arm up. Feeling this stretch going all the way down the side of our body. So we're getting into that IT band now, or the outside of the hip. And let's flow through that one more time on this side. Lift up, use those obliques. We're using the core as well. Lower back down. Really press through the outside of that foot that's on the floor, that left foot. So you can feel that stretch down all the way into that ankle. Good. Now taking the hands, keep the legs where they are, out in front of you. Back up so you can still see me. Pressing the chest forward. So we're in that gate pose. Press the hips back and the chest forward. So we're in basically a child's pose, but with that leg out to the side. Press into the outside of the foot. One more breath here. And then start to bring the hips forward, lowering that left knee, right leg goes out to the side. So now we have that right leg out to the side, we're back into that gate pose. Press the hips forward, reach the arms out to the side, side bend toward that right leg, not putting any pressure on the knee. Pressing into the outside edge. We call that sometimes the knife edge in our yoga classes. The outside edge of that foot. Gently taking the left arm down, right arm goes up over. Nice big stretch all the way down that right side of the body. Exhale, use that breath to get those obliques to turn on. And reach again. Eyes can again go up toward the ceiling or down at our leg. Reaching the arm down toward the mat. Hands walk forward to the top of the mat. Press the hips, or the side of the mat, press the hips back. Maybe untuck this back toe so you can get a nice stretch through that quad, or you can keep the knee tucked or the foot tucked if that feels better. Press back. Breathing here. Stay where you are. I just want you to make sure you can hear me. That's why I'm just keeping my eyes up, my head up. Feeling that stretch move all the way into the outside, the back of the hamstrings, into the calf muscle. Spread through the fingers, feeling the lats stretch as well. One more breath, and then press the chest forward. Knees go underneath the hips. Let's turn toward the front of our mat once again. Spread the fingers, tuck the toes behind you, moving into our first down dog. Lift the hips up, lift the knees off, and just press pedal through those feet a little bit. Now bend the knees, extend through your spine, nice and long. Hold here for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, look forward toward your hands and exhale to walk your feet towards your hands. Stay in this nice forward fold for a moment. Inhale deeply here, feeling your tummy press into the tops of your thighs, and then exhale to roll up one vertebra at a time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Moving into Surya Namaskar. Classic Surya Namaskar. So we're going to be going into some lunges. We're going to be going into some lifts and lowers and the chaturangas and all that good stuff. So go at your own pace. Take your time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive the arms forward. Inhale, take that right leg back behind you. Lower that knee. Inhale to option, reach the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Untuck the front toes, bring them behind you. We can stay in that kneeling position to lower our chest and our chin to the mat. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale to lower down, tuck the toes, come all the way back into that down dog. Inhale here. Exhale, take that right leg forward, bring it all the way to the front of your mat, lower that left knee down, inhale, reach the arms up, exhale, hand frames the foot, bring that left leg back to the front of the mat, drape through the spine, inhale to lengthen up, exhale to dive forward. This time left leg steps back, drop the knee down, inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot. You have the option of going into a plank position, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes all the way back into that downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg pulls forward to the top of the mat. Drop that left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Tuck the back toes, step forward in the mat. Inhale to stack the spine. One more round on each side. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, step the right leg back, lowering that knee. Inhale to lift up into that Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Maybe you go from that plank into that full chaturanga. Maybe you hover off the floor and go into up dog this time. Exhale back into mountain or downward facing dog. Inhale, this time the left leg steps forward. Drop the back knee down. reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come back down to the mat, tuck the toes, step that back leg forward. Inhale to reach back up. Exhale, last round. Left leg starts first. We step the left leg back. Drop the knee down. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to come down, frame the foot. Tuck the toes so you can step back. Maybe we lower knees, chest and chin, or we do our full chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Now that left leg comes forward. Left leg, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toes, we step forward one last time. Inhale to stack the spine. That was our classic Surya Namaskar. Moving into Surya Namaskar B. So we're going into flow, Vinyasa flow B. So we're gonna add the chair and we're gonna add warrior 2 and then we'll flow through that for a little bit. About 45 minutes for our class today, so you know about where we're at on time. Inhale, reach the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, this time we sit back into chair pose. Keeping the chest lifted, hands can come together into prayer if we need to, if those shoulders are feeling tired. Then reaching the arms down to the mat, half lift. So we lift halfway up. Exhale to forward fold. Hands come to the floor. This time, we're going to step both legs back. So we find that plank position. Knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, take that right leg forward. Maybe keep that left knee lifted as you inhale up into warrior 1. So right leg is forward, left leg is back. And then rotate, pivot that back heel down. So you find warrior 2. Right leg is forward, left leg is back. Dropping the hips down. Inhale here. Exhale, float the arms back down to the mat. Lift that front leg off. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then bend the knees, walk or step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Drop back into that chair position. Hips back, chest up. Inhale, stand up, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat, step both feet back. Knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Back into that downward facing dog. This time the left leg comes up. Pull the knee toward the chest, step forward. Frame the foot. Maybe your props are there. Reach up. Warrior 1. Open up maybe into that warrior 2. Reach the arms. This time that left leg is forward. Really lower those hips down. Feeling that nice big stretch in the inner thighs, outside of the foot. But think about pulling the legs together as you're here. So you still have integrity of the muscles of the legs underneath you. One more breath here. Last flow. We exhale, bring the arms down to the mat. Bring that front leg back to the back foot. Knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga. Lift up. Press back. Walk or step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to stack the spine. Exhale, sit back into your chair one more time, going into a quick twist. So I want you to turn toward let's turn to the right leg first. Turn toward that right leg. Maybe you hook that left elbow on that leg. Looking behind you, watch those knees. Make sure you're not twisting the hips. Just in the upper back. Inhale to stack the spine, back into that chair, and then twist on the other side. Lift that chest back up, stand up tall. Let's shake out those legs from that chair pose. Having a seat Back into that chair pose just one more time. Arms reach up toward the ceiling. From this supported position, we're going to go ahead and step that left leg back, right leg is forward. So left leg is back, right leg is forward, facing me. Making our way into that warrior two again. So instead of flowing through everything, we're just finding that warrior two. Dropping the hips down. Looking fiercely over those fingertips into nowhere. Looking beyond whatever's in front of you, the wall, the tree. And then bringing that right arm into the inside of that right leg. Hand or elbow can come down. This is our side angle pose. Or we can bring that hand inside of that right foot. Really keep opening through the chest, lifting and opening that left arm. One more breath. Exhale to stack the spine, bringing the chest toward the front or the side of the mat, bringing the toes forward, and just switching side from that wide stance position. So we're opening up now the left foot, pivoting that left foot open, turning that right foot in a little bit, reach to the arms, find your warrior two. On your next exhale, start to cartwheel the arms down, find that side angle pose, hand or elbow maybe on the knee of that left leg or down on the inside of that left leg. Side angle pose, really feeling the hips on this one. Keep that right arm pulling back, opening up the chest. Exhale to lift the chest. Bring those toes back toward the front. Option here to interlace the hands behind you or to just bring the arms forward, finding maybe a prop in front of you, a coffee table or a couch, so that you can keep that spine long, pressing the hips back. So if we're interlacing the hands, maybe we press the arms overhead, let the arms hang overhead. Slight bend in those knees. Inhale, start to release the hands if you have them interlaced. Bend the knees slightly, lift the chest, come back into that upright position. Finding some balance poses now. We're going to stay in this wide position. Turn the toes so we find that warrior two once again. Warrior two, dropping that knee, bending that knee. So we're starting with that right knee bent, left leg behind you, warrior two. Now maybe I'm going to use my water bottle for a little bit of balance here. So kind of put it out in front of you so that when we go into our half moon pose, we can reach for that prop. Start to step that left leg in. Right leg starts to take more of the weight of your body. Maybe your prop needs to move a little bit like mine does. And lift, start to hover and lift that back leg. So we're really trying to extend through that left leg, press it back. Balance challenges. Lift that left leg, open up the hip, lift it open through the chest. Maybe you look at the ground, that's going to be where we're going to get the most stability. If you're looking for a challenge, maybe you look forward, or the hardest is going to be looking up at the ceiling or looking up at the sky. One more breath. Gently, slowly, carefully lower that back leg down. Find your warrior two, just like nothing ever happened. And then take your prop if you need it for the other side. Slowly move it over to the other side so you're ready for that. And then bring those toes back to the front. Before we go to the other side, we're going to practice wide lunges. So keeping those legs open, press the hips back, bend the knees, and I want you to shift your weight to one leg and then shift your weight to the other leg. Drop nice and low in those hips, shifting and shifting. Maybe if you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can actually lift the back heel. Big, huge stretch here. Should not bother any of your joints, so make sure you're listening to your body. Really try to keep that chest lifted. One more time. and then lift up back into that wide stance. Line up your ankles so they're about wrist distance apart. Turn this time, those left toes out towards your prop, getting ready for that half moon on the other side. Start to lighten up the load of the back leg. So we're in our warrior two. We start to just gently step forward, bringing our chest, keeping our chest open, but bringing it toward the floor, lifting in unison that back leg. So we're lifting that right leg up toward the ceiling, but we're thinking about reaching through the leg more than we are thinking about lifting it up. Slight bend in that standing leg, 2 more breaths. Maybe give yourself a little challenge, try to let go of your prop. Don't look at me. 1 more breath. And slowly, carefully, with control, lower that back leg. Come back to that warrior two. Lengthen through that front leg. We're gonna find Trikonasana and then we'll come to the mat. Back to that stance, that wide stance. Turn to those right toes again. Straighten that right leg. Lift and lengthen through the chest so we still have length through that right side. And then cartwheel the arms down so we're still pressing through this knife edge of our left foot. Hand can come to, maybe you moved your water bottle or your prop here for a little support, or we can put the hands on the shin or bring the hand to the ankle, but really thinking about opening, spiraling that chest open. Slight bend in that straight leg. One more breath, and exhale. Start to come back up through the spine. Let's get a quick reverse triangle. Grab my water bottle so I have it for the other side. Stand up nice and tall, and let's switch those legs. So we're switching into the left leg this time. Make sure your ankle of that left leg is in line with kind of like the arch of that right foot before you go into that triangle pose. Trikonasana on the other side. Shifting the hips back, keeping the chest lifted. You can always use that prop. It's all about keeping the chest and spine open and core on. Still breathing into that rib cage. 1 more breath. And bring it all the way back up. Move your props out of the way. Make sure you still have your pillow close by. We'll need it for some of our seated poses. But before that, I want us to do a couple more hip openers standing. So let's go ahead and find a little bit more balance. Lifting, let's go ahead and start with our more commonly non-dominant leg. So start to lift your right toes off of the floor. Just gently lifting them off the floor. Really stretching and lengthening through that left leg, and then grab back for that right leg. Perfect. So if you can't quite reach the right leg, then just bending it is going to be fine. We're going to gently start to go into our dancer's pose. So if you're reaching back for that leg, we're kicking the leg up, reaching the chest forward. If you have a hold of that back leg, we're lifting and reaching through the chest, dropping and lengthening through that front arm. So we're kicking, really push that leg into your hand. You can also grab on the inside. Hold for 1 more breath. Stack the spine, lower that leg down. Quick little stretch. Whew. Taking it to the other side. Might notice you have a little more balance on this side. So we have that right leg down now. You can grab, if you're going to grab on the inside of the foot, you're taking your left arm, opening up to the side, and just placing that foot inside that left arm. Reach the arms forward, drop the chest, but lengthen through the chest, kick into that back leg, looking at something in front of you. 2 more breaths. Stack that spine, release that leg, and just walk out the feet. All right, find the back of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up toward the ceiling or the sky. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. We're going to go ahead and walk our hands toward the top of the mat. This is where your prop might come handy. Starting with the right leg, I want you to pull the right knee in toward your chest and then turn it so that you're in pigeon pose. What you can do to support that hip, that right hip, is place the pillow. You can even fold it in half underneath that right hip. Lift the chest, so we're here first. So we're in that more royal pigeon. We have another option here. If you want to reach back for that left leg, you can find a little bit of a twist, a little bit more of a hip stretch in that left hip flexor, but we're staying upright. If we're looking for more of a relaxed pigeon, we can reach our arms out in front of us, our forehead to the floor. Or if you have another pillow, you could put your forehead on that pillow or blanket. Take a moment here to just rest, to just regain control over your breath. Over your thoughts. Bring the hands back toward the hips. Take that pillow out from underneath that hip if you have it there. Move it off to the side maybe, and then we'll switch to the other side. So I forgot to give you guys the option, the supine option. But if the pigeon was too much for you, you can always do that here. So if you want to go ahead and take that pose, if you're struggling with that pigeon, please do so here, taking the right leg across. Those of you who were okay in that pigeon, let's go ahead and go into our down dog with that right leg that we just opened up, getting a little bit more of a hip opener in that down dog. So one-legged down dog. Lift that leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip, but keep the shoulders square to the mat. And release that leg down. We can all just briefly find, those of you who are on that supine pigeon, you can stay there for a second still. You find a quick child's pose, and then get ready for that left leg. So those of you who are on supine pigeon, go ahead and switch legs. Then those of you who are doing that pigeon forward on the mat, take that left leg, reach it back, and then pull it forward using your abdominals. Twist that ankle out in toward that right wrist. Maybe support that left hip. Option to lift the chest up. Maybe if it feels good to us, or if we're looking for this today, we reach back for that right foot. If not, we're lowering that foot down. We're keeping the chest lifted in royal pigeon, or we can lower down to the mat. Find what gives you the most release, the most relaxation. If you're doing that supine pigeon, you now have the left leg wrapped over the right leg. One more breath here, long, deep breath. Start to walk the hands back to the hip with that front leg, that left leg. If you're in that supine pigeon, start to release that left leg. Let's go ahead and press into the mat, go into that nice down dog with that opener on the other side. If you're in that supine pigeon, start to make your way into just regular down dog. So we'll all meet here in down dog. Foot comes back to the mat. Press the hips back so we're both in down dog, all of us. Bend the knees. Bring the chest forward, lower the knees down, the chest down, and the chin down. We're gonna go into some back extension now. Pressing the hands into the mat. Inhale, I want you to pretend like you have a marble underneath your nose, and you're just going to roll the marble and look just in front of the mat, really trying not to look toward the front of the mat. Inhale, lift. Lengthen, feeling the muscles and the just like that. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Press the hips back. Find a child's pose, knees wide. Relax your forehead on the mat. I'm going to keep my head lifted just so I can talk to you. Our forehead is on the mat. We're rocking our forehead side to side, kind of massage the front part of our forehead. And then on your next exhale, I want you to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, maybe draping that left arm over the right arm, still pressing the hips back, head is down, relaxed toward the mat. Maybe you turn your head so your temple is now on the mat of that left side of your forehead. And then walk your hands over to the left side. As you breathe here in that child's pose, notice how as you breathe with that side bend position, you feel like the breath is moving more into one side of the body than the other. So we know that we're still breathing that three-dimensional breath. All right, back to that back extension. Just a couple more exercises or poses. We're going to press the hips forward, lower ourselves down, reach the arms behind us this time, and bring the arms, reaching them up toward the ceiling. Inhale to lift the chest up. This time, try to glue your legs together and lift arms and legs. Lift, lift, lift. One more big breath. Exhale, lower down. You can either repeat that same exercise or same pose, or we can reach back for the feet, finding bow pose. Open up the chest, keep your eyes toward the front of the mat. Inhale to lift and kick into those hands. And exhale, lower down. Maybe keep hold of those legs because we have one more. You can relax your left temple or left cheek onto the mat. Last big back extension. Inhale, lift the chest, lift and kick into those legs. And exhale, lower down. This time the right cheek goes onto the floor. Release those legs with that right cheek on the floor. Let your back just relax, your cheek just relax. Just melt into the mat. Bring the hands underneath your chest to push yourself back up into a quadruped position. Walk your legs towards your hands and then turn onto your sit bones. So we're having a seat now. Lengthening the legs in front of you, we're going to slowly lower ourselves down onto our back. Actually, before we do that, I want to do some knee rocks. So hands come behind you, bend the knees, and then just let your legs fall over to one side and then fall over to the other side. So the closer you bring your chest to your knees, the more of a hip stretch you're going to get. So the further away your legs are, you get a little bit less. The closer your legs are, you can also kind of start to let your hips come off and then start to bring your arms into it. So we're twisting, maybe reaching, rock the knees, twist and reach. Finish on this other side, so let's stop here so you can see me, and then actually twist toward the other direction so your feet are going the other way, and see if you can reach opposite to that. And then take it to the other side. Legs come over, we reach over, and then reach over those feet. Big, big twist. And then release those arms down. Now we're going to roll down onto our backs. Flex the toes in front of you, reach the arms forward. Exhale, nod the chin toward the chest, round through the spine, tuck your tailbone. We're going to go as slow as we possibly can, all the way down. Keep those feet heavy on the mat, scoop, pull the belly in. You should still be able to breathe. Lower all the way down onto the mat. Bend the knees toward your hips. Bring the hands toward the floor. Press your arms into the floor. lift your hips up into our bridge pose. Only one more pose after this, and then we go into our final Shavasana. So really lift those hips up. If you want more of a chest opener or shoulder opener, you can interlace the hands, walk the shoulders underneath you. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together. One more big breath here. Exhale, release the arms, release the hips down. Lift your right leg up into tabletop. You can reach your left leg, grab on to that right leg with your left arm, and gently twist that leg over. We're looking for that bent knee, or if you want more of an IT band stretch, you can straighten that right knee, looking to the opposite direction. Really try to keep that opposite shoulder down. Two more breaths here. Gently bring that leg back to the ceiling. And before we let it go, we're going to do some hip circles. So stir the pot of that hip joint, of that femur in the socket, and then change direction. Try to relax your head down. It's really easy, as I just did, to lift the head up. And now release that right leg down. Back to the left leg. So we pull that left leg in, grab onto the knee, bring that left knee across the body, keep that chest open, reaching that opposite arm, opposite shoulder to the floor. We can always extend the leg. That leg back up to the ceiling or the sky, bend the knee, stir the pot. Holding on to that knee, stir the pot around, maybe 4 one direction, about 4 the other direction. And then last movement of the day, you have the option of putting a pillow or a blanket, or maybe even folding it up. Legs up a wall is next. If shoulder stands in your practice, that's on you. I'm not going to demonstrate that, but you can find shoulder stand if you want. Bridge those hips up so that you're supporting the hips with whatever prop you're using, and then let those legs come up toward the ceiling. Arms and chest just release onto the mat. Now what legs up a wall does is it starts to relax the heart. Great pose to do right before you go to bed. It changes the circulation of your body, really starts to just bring your attention away from other things that might be happening. Make sure your legs feel very weightless above you. If your eyes are open, you're looking beyond your toes. One more breath here. Lower your legs down onto the mat. Lift your hips up so that that prop can come out from underneath you. And you have a couple options here. You can go, especially you're looking for more hip openers today, we can go to Baddha Konasana, where our feet are together and our legs drape out to the side for our final Shavasana. Or you can let those legs reach out and find that nice Shavasana with the legs straight. Find a comfortable position. If you would like to put a pillow underneath your head or drape something over your eyes, especially if it's bright wherever you are, you can do so it's more dark for your final Shavasana. Focus on your body, on where you feel your yoga practice helped you today. Maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with your body, just the fact that you took time out of your day to be positively distracted for your body, for your mind. It's so easy right now when we're not moving as much as we usually do to be so focused on just really working our body very hard and getting the most out of our workouts as far as the calorie burn. But these kind of slower practices are exactly what our body and mind needs right now. So be impressed, happy, and satisfied with yourself for especially trying something new, if this was a newer yoga practice for you. And just give yourself some gratitude for attending class today, for doing something for yourself. Shavasana, but start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, keeping your eyes closed. Then gently start to rock your head from side to side. Start to roll onto your right side, and then use your arms to push yourself up into a comfortable seated position, very similar to how we started class today. Maybe you're sitting on a prop. Relax your hands on your legs, close your eyes. Take one more deep breath here. Exhale out. Inhale, reach the arms up toward the ceiling or the sky. Hands come together. Start to rub your hands together, warming up your palms. Cup your hands over your eyes. Nod your chin toward your chest and gently let those hands fall away as you blink your eyes open into your hands. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me today. I appreciate your practice. I appreciate your time. I am so impressed with everybody doing their best in this situation to be as strong and positive as they can. I hope this practice helped you today, and if it did, please let me know. Stay tuned for noon today. We will have a live feed with Yana doing multi-directional strength for you. What that means is she will be moving your body in different directions, doing multi-directional lunges, multi-directional push-ups, some twisting. Your whole body will be worked in a very unique way, and I'm really excited for her to teach that class today at noon. Thank you again so much for joining me. Have a wonderful, amazing day, and I hope to see you again soon.